We would routinely have charges over $10,000 each month.
$6,000 there's no way we would have done that.
Captain Kirk the cat might well have faced his final frontier if it wasn't for pet insurance. The 2-year-old cat came home one night with a serious leg injury.
In total, nearly $6,000.
Would you have been able to afford that?
No, not at all. We would have had to loan the money if we decided to pay it ourselves or add it to our mortgage or something.
Julia Reid says with pet insurance the excess was just $100, a fraction of the total vet bill.
Each little item is not that much. It's a drug here, even the operations are $300 for this bit, $400 for that bit, but you add it all together and it quickly runs into the thousands.
The take-up of pet insurance in Australia is now around 30%, and there's plenty of plans on offer.
It's like choosing a mobile phone contract. There's so many different variances out there.
Financial planner Nick Bruning has looked at a variety of pet insurance plans on offer.
What's really interesting is that there's many promoters, but basically all insured by one mob, which is Hollard Insurance. And that's one of the things that hopefully will change over the next few years. As the take-up of pet insurance increases, we might see more players enter the market, and that will see competitive pressures drive those prices down. But at the moment, it's basically one insurer with multiple promoters of the same product or a similar product.
While the policies are basically alike, it's still critical to compare the cost and coverage to make sure you're getting the deal that's best for you and your pet.
You can get accident-only insurance, accident and illness insurance, and accident, illness and routine cover, which covers for things like microchipping and sexing and that sort of stuff. A lot of these policies have limits or caps as to how much they'll pay out on a particular treatment, a bit like ancillary cover with dental for humans, but nonetheless there are caps that you need to be aware of.
Nick says people need to be aware that pet insurance doesn't operate in the same way as human insurance, and there are exclusions and changing price structures.
The big differences between pet insurance and human health insurance is that we don't have this community rating system, which basically means that as your pet gets older, the insurance premiums go up. So certainly for a puppy or a kitten, you might be paying one price, and then once the pet's, say, 8 years old, you're talking about 40% more in premiums. So you need to be aware of that.
Dr Mark Laurie from Murdoch University's Vet Hospital says as veterinary medicine becomes more complex, the cost of animal care can top that of humans, as there's no Medicare for pets. It can result in staggering costs.
Well, I think one of the largest costs we've had here at Murdoch Pet Emergency Centre at Murdoch Uni is a cat that was bitten by a snake that required about 2 to 3 weeks of treatment, some of it intensive one-on-one care on a ventilator, multiple antivenin, and that was around $40,000. And those people weren't insured, and they took out a mortgage on their house to cover the cost of that treatment.
While pet insurance wouldn't cover that sort of bill, with most capped at between $9,000 and $15,000, it can still be the difference between undertaking expensive treatment or not.
One of the critical things is that nowadays people see their dogs and cats as part of the family, like their children, and when they're confronted with the need to pay a large sum of money, they're torn apart emotionally sometimes. Their desire is to do whatever it takes, and sometimes they do that with or without insurance. But that insurance gives that buffer of knowing that there's not so much pressure on you financially necessarily when you've got to spend a lot of money.
Look, just be aware that the premiums do go up over time, and make sure that it's a level of cover that you can genuinely afford. But in terms of value for money for those unexpected big costs, I think it stacks up reasonably well, like most insurance does.
Because he's only a 2-year-old cat, so we've well and truly got our money's worth out of the insurance.